Sheriff Meier is just seeing the direct mail piece. I'm going to Ray Meier. What do you want to add, Joe?
Well, I got a text from Mr. Gordon. Apparently, he's objecting to my being critical of the mail piece that he sent out. So he told me that I should switch to the Democrat Party. Now, I'm not advocating on behalf of Sandy DiPerno. I'm just advocating on what I think the principles of the Republican Party are, and I'm advocating on behalf of what I think candidates should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing. And the reality is, I wasn't a Democrat 2 years ago. I didn't run for Congress. I was not on the news fully supporting Bernie Sanders for president. I think somebody else was. I think his name was Dave Gordon. He switched to our party. As far as I was concerned, I welcomed him with open arms because I welcome anybody that comes to the party. But I'm going to be critical because it's my right as an American, and I believe in that. And, he wants to bring me up on charges for being a bad Republican. Bring it, because you'll be sitting right next to me. Except I think you'll be wearing it, not me.
All right. With that said, I'm going to go to former state senator Ray Meier. Good morning, Ray. I'm sorry to keep you waiting.
Oh, that's great. And hey, look, I've been a huge Monty Python fan for years. So,
well, there we go. So it all ties.
And when your guest said that he was honored that he was put ahead of a former state senator, you exercised great restraint and didn't tell him that's not such a badge of honor anymore. But Joe, what you just said is, that's the kind of principled politics that we used to be used to around here. And it's just, this stuff is just poison. And as somebody who is at a point in his career where I'm happily practicing law, probably never run for office again, I can speak the way I want to. But this is just poison, this stuff. And you're exactly right. She's too liberal for Oneida County. Dave Gordon endorsed Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
And I might add that I guess we'll find out how much this hit piece cost. Oh wait, he hasn't filed with the.
He has not filed.
Board of Elections, has he?
Yep.
And so, and he's running for county clerk. And let me tell you something again, as a lawyer, running that office requires attention to very meticulous detail, and he can't be bothered as a candidate for public office to fulfill his obligations under the law to disclose where his money comes from, where the money came from for this hit piece. This is an outrage, and like I say, Joe, I'm no longer a Republican official. I'm voting for Sandy. I'll say it. So there you have it. For whatever it's worth, from a washed-up has-been politician, but that's the way I feel. And I came home last night after working late and saw this, and it just struck me as it's just poisonous. I got to tell you, going back to my last race when Mike Arcuri and I ran against each other, and Michael and I are friends to this day. We occasionally have lunch together. It was St. Patrick's Day. It was the day Sherry had announced he wasn't running. Mike and I bumped into each other at the Friendly Sons of St. Patrick's dinner, and he walked up to me and shook my hand and said, you and I can keep this clean. And I said to him, you and I can. I said, I don't know if the people in Washington will.
Yeah.
And the acid that poured into our campaign was all in Washington, from both sides. You can go back through the records of that campaign. Mike and I never really went after each other except on issues. But for this this is Washington, D.C. style, and yes, I'll say it, swamp politics. And to let that attitude pour into the politics of this community, it's poisonous. It's devoid of truth, and it insults voters. And like I say, I'm not running for public office. Probably, you notice how I just
probably you did.
Probably
you did.
ever again. But I'm
like a
vote
good
for
attorney.
Sandy.
There's always an addendum in there. So you're voting for Sandy DePerno.
I am.
Yeah. I just think two things when I thought two things when I saw this. Number one, head job completely, and number two, well, maybe three, going after Sheriff Meischel of all people, and then finally, this is so over the top, so not applicable for a race at this level. It is just it shows you his inability to judge a situation properly and act, and that to me is very telling. So even I haven't had detailed conversations with Sandy about her politics ever. But even if she were a liberal, what difference does it make? Yeah.
How does that affect your ability to record deeds, be a responsible custodian of court records? Because she's the clerk of all the courts in that capacity. What the heck does that have to do with anything? And in 38 years, a Cuomo puppet? Wow, she must be able to foresee the future, because the last time I checked, I don't think Cuomo's been governor.
Yeah.
For 38 years.
Must go back to his dad. And by the way, if he were to be elected, we're putting all of that information, deed information, transfer, real estate, all of that information is going into the hands of Dave Gordon. I'm uncomfortable with that. I'm sorry. I just feel that way. Ray Meier, thank you so much.
Thanks. Good to talk to you guys.
Appreciate your patience with us this morning.
Thanks, Ray.
No big deal. Thanks, guys.
So I got to ask
Have a great day.
Well, what do you mean by that?
I don't trust him.
Well, what would he do with it?
Use it for his own political purposes. Use it for simply gossip. Having access, giving Dave Gordon access to private information makes me uncomfortable, especially when he can put out a piece like this. Clearly, he doesn't judge properly and make good decisions. You want that with your sensitive information? I'm just saying. My opinion.
I just say stick to the issues. That's, I think that if you're going to prevail, stick to the issues.
And these aren't the issues.
These are not the issues.
Got a break.